have attention because I was doing other things at the time that was on, preferably making supper and stuff, and I didn't really get a chance to watch it, really pay close attention. In other words, I was really, really busy during the football game and I only saw maybe, if I was lucky, maybe a half hour to an hour because I was really busy. And then later on in the game, toward the end there, like about close to the fourth quarter, I dozed off. And when I woke up, New England won. So it's like, okay, whatever. So I guess that just, taught me to pay more attention. But like I said before, that's what it is with me sometimes. I pay half attention, and then when something happens, I get lost in, whatever. Anyway, be right back. You have more of the best of the Gary Russen program with our first segment on Bo Bergdahl. Until then, it's Gary J. Russen. We'll be right back. This is the best of the Gary Russen program on GJRB.
Or just starting a solo act on your own, go to the place on the internet where you can get equipment at great prices. HelloMusic.com. They have guitars, amps, mixers, and microphones, some at great low prices. Log on today and look at the equipment and the prices. www.hellomusic.com. Like them on Facebook for chances to win guitars, mics, and other band equipment. Remember the name, Hello Music.
Watch. Pray, for we not know what hour the Son of God will return. Prophecy, New World Order, terrorism, economic collapse, wars, pest, Israel. When they say peace, then cometh sudden destruction, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, end-time headlines at www.endtimeheadlines.org.
If you're a new emerging artist and want your songs out there, the place to go is Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation, a website totally devoted to new music from new artists from every town and every state in the U.S. If you're a solo artist and recording your own music, it's Reverb Nation. Stop on by, visit, listen to the music, check out the site, www.reverbnation.com. Put your music out there and gain an audience. Go to Reverb Nation for the best in new music. And remember, if you like your songs played on GJRB Online's Up and Coming, drop me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com. And I'll be playing your song on all GJRB online shows. Remember the name, Reverb Nation.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Hey, alright, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Now let's continue to talk with the Gary Russen program. Back on the air, the best of the Gary Russen program on the weekends here on GJRB. GJRB, this is our weekend podcast weekends. Here on GJRB, this is where we just have uploads of podcasts, pre-recorded programs, and stuff I do during the week, including the last 7 days in Bible study. Always on the weekend on GJRB Podcast Weekends here on GJRB. All right, glad you could be with me today. Got a lot of good stuff coming up on this program, and I wanted to bring it to you, and hope you're enjoying your weekend. And let's get started. I got some really interesting stuff to play for you today on our show. And let's see, got to find the one I'm looking for actually first, because I didn't mark it. Of course, I could just go into my music thing here, and I usually do that. Upload soundtrack, and I usually go into like my soundtracks, and where it says the list. Okay, that's how I do that. I go into my thing and I find the list of the segments, and I know which ones they are. That way, it just makes it easier for me to find it. So this is the one I want first. And reiterating on this one, this is the one from last July. Remember back in July last year when Bo Bergdah's dad was in the White House, and there was this like cry of Allah at the White House. This was this this whole bit under the story about how Bo Bergdahl apparently, the story was that he left this post. Okay, he left this post, and what happened was he got into big trouble and good for desertion, but they couldn't prove it. They said that he was kidnapped, apparently, right? And so his father went to the White House and cried Allah, prayer of Allah, a bit. And here's the story. This is from July 15, 2014, Gary Russen program. That now that Obama is letting all these immigrants over our country illegally, it is destroying the whole fabric of this country. Because see, we're letting these people come over our borders, and the kids, that's a sad situation. There are places like Honduras, a lot of these countries that are not treating these kids right.
My neighborhood. Am I the only one in this?
Turns out that's nothing. We've had,
Okay, I think it's further earlier in. It's like in the newscast portion of the program, which hit the lowest on July 12th, according to one witness. Snowflakes hail in the mountain regions. Meanwhile, things are... Let's see where... Okay, there was... Okay. Okay, what I should do is set that up, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and play a little music interlude. Wasn't ready for that yet, so I've got to go back in and find it. I don't know exactly where it was, so hang on a second. There you go. Should have checked it before airtime. Let's see. Obviously, forgot to mark it. So somehow I cannot find that story, and I thought it was on here. Had it marked at 1344N, and I went to 1344N, and it's not on there. So I'm going to have to skip that segment and go to the next one. And I'll go back to that story later. For some apparent reason, I can't find it. I should have went through that. So I'm going to skip this segment, and I'm going to go on to my next one, which was, let's see, that would be from September 9th. Okay, September 9th, that would be this one. Okay. So I need to go into my soundtracks and pull that out. September 19th. Let's see here. Go down here. I'm gonna. Is that cut? No. Where is it? Oh yeah, part 3. Marked it in my log, but I didn't. Here it is. 16. Okay, here we go. There it is. All right. Skip that part. I'm going to go back to that Bo Bergdahl story. When I find it, I'll bring it up. But as for that, I'm going to push that to a later part of the show. So I'm going to jump now to September 19th. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. Jump into September 9th. September 9th Gary Russen program. And on that show, I was doing the BHC Community Magazine, remembering that segment from that show. Now, I haven't done that segment in a long time. Matter of fact, I don't remember the last time we did one. Let me think here. It had to be last year sometime. Kind of put that segment to a halt for quite some time. And since we're nearing the end of this segment, I'm going to push it to the next part. But here's what I'm going to do. Coming up in the next half hour here on the Best of the Gary Russen program, I'm going to go back to September 9th for 2 segments. First, my BHC Community Magazine interview with the Theater Club. And I forgot to turn my microphone on at the beginning of that segment, so there's like a huge silence. So we'll play that one. And then, right after that, on the same show, I talked about how Ravens cut Ray Rice over a video where he was beating his wife in an elevator. And they cut him from the team over this. And I'll play that one. That's coming up in the next segment. You're going to want to listen to that. It's pretty good. And let's see, what else? Let me see, what else do I want to do? Oh, yeah. And we're going to go down to the news and comment from November 21st. And we'll do that one. That's a pretty good one. Talking about Obama's executive order. And a whole lot more good stuff. And I'll try to find that Bo Bergdahl story, too. Because it just has to be played again, because there's an update on that. As I said earlier, it was proven, they did an investigation to find out that he did leave his post. So we'll talk about that. He did leave his post. He was not kidnapped as believed before. He abandoned his post, and all he got was a slap on the wrist. All he got was a dishonorable discharge. Never had to pay the consequences. Traitor is he. Talk about that. Plus a whole lot more coming up in the next half hour of my podcast, the best of the Gary Russen program. Stay tuned. Be right back.